Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. As you can see yesterday, we had BlackRock surprisingly sold about 30 million. That is extremely rare. You don't see that happen very often, but the others picked up. So overall, we had a positive 102 million day. Yesterday was just, again, it was a bad day to start with, but we did pick up and then it turned bad again. But overall, we had a net positive day. Ethereum also. Ethereum BlackRock did not sell, but the rest of the funds took in 236 million, which is good. But the day before, man, was brutal. The day before, on Monday, there was a 428 million outflow, including 310 from BlackRock. So ETH, I don't know. There's still definitely appetite for ETH, but it does seem like the ETFs are not showing nearly as much strength as, say, a few months ago, right? And nowhere close to Bitcoin strength. So that's for sure. All right, what else? The U.S. government just got another 127,000 Bitcoin on top of the 250,000 that they already own. But I think a lot of people missed this. But the Department of Justice seized 127,000 Bitcoin from this, I don't know, from this criminal organization. Okay, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. So they're, if this gets added to the Bitcoin reserve, that's a whole lot of Bitcoin, right? So you don't even need to buy any. You can just confiscate it to the scammers, which is great. But, what would be greater is if they actually did come up with a plan to start loading up on Bitcoin. That's what Senator Loomis is still working on, and several others are advocating that we need to have a plan, like a 5-year plan to acquire 1 million Bitcoin, right? And then wait 20 years and maybe utilize the gains from Bitcoin to pay off the deficit or to do other great things, because in 20 years, that 1 million Bitcoin is going to be worth like 100x higher. And hopefully our deficit doesn't grow by the same amount by 100x in over 20 years, even though it is growing by leaps and bounds right now. It's just part of how our country operates. Outside of that, you know what? The IMF urged countries to recognize digital currency as part of the new financial reality. IMF and World Bank, they're still not fans of countries that's solely embracing Bitcoin, like El Salvador. Always threatened them to cut off their ties with Bitcoin. But I think now they're starting to realize that, you can't ignore digital currency. You can't ignore this new asset class. It's just way too big to ignore, right? That is the reality, the new norm, right? They need to get with the program. And I think they're starting to, but, who's to say? Whenever you're in charge, the IMF and the World Bank, and I kind of see them the same entity because they're kind of the same. When they have controls over countries by exclusively lending them money and telling them what to do, that's control. No one wants to lose that control. Same thing with just traditional banks, right? They have people under their control because they lent them money, and now there's mortgages and loans and car loans and personal debt, right? You're kind of obligated to the bank, right? People don't like to lose that control, or organizations or banks. And crypto is really a way to free countries or people or organizations from that. So that's why, it takes so long for them to kind of adapt, right? It's because it's going to help them lose more control. But it's going to happen regardless. So they just have to figure it out. They have to figure out how to adopt, basically. They may not have to embrace, but they have to figure out how to adopt. And that's what a lot of banks are doing. They're forced to adopt now because they know that if they don't, they're going to be in trouble in the next 5 to 10 years. Kenya's president officially signs bill to legalize Bitcoin and crypto into law. So another country that is moving forward. You got this gold miner that's raising about $47 million to buy more Bitcoin. Again, every single week you have something, right? Like you have some new public trade company or private company, or in this case, a gold miner that may be going all out with a Bitcoin treasury or forming a new treasury, right? That's awesome. Awesome. All right. What else? Bitcoin to 150,000 after October 10th. So we are after October 10th already. So are we heading to $150,000? Well, all indicators point to yes. Yes, we are. This trader, looking at and comparing our current move to the 2021 high, right around the same time frame, is seeing very, very similar movements. Right before we started going up in 2021, right? We had that COVID crash. We had a huge crash. We hit this certain level, okay? People forgot about that. And then we recovered. And then we went on a historic run. So very similar, very similar. Again, a lot of people have short-term memories. They only remember what's now. They don't remember what has happened before, because mostly all the dips and everything that we had before, we recover very quickly. And then we go and make that next leg up. And then people forget. People forgot about all these horrible dips, the volatility that we had over the years, including even earlier this year, including last year, including 2023, and then including 2021, when we fell 50% mid-cycle, mid-pump, I should say, not even mid-cycle. Every single year we go through something, and most people forget. And most people only look at now, like what has happened today or 2 weeks ago, right? They don't even remember what has happened like 6 months ago. It's not that uncommon to see this kind of manipulation in the market. You see it all the time. But when in doubt and zoom out, you realize, okay, is Bitcoin higher than where it was 6 months ago? Yeah. Was it higher? Is it higher than 12 months ago? Yeah. Is it higher than 2 years ago? Yeah. Is it higher than 2021 cycle? Yeah. So you just have to be patient. If we're sitting right now below our 2021 high and we're at like $60,000, well, then you could say, yeah, there's a problem. Okay, we're not following the cycle anymore. But we're not. We're not. We're well above $100,000, which is a point that a lot of people thought we would never surpass. Not only that, we're holding above 110,000, and we're really just like 10% away from all-time high. So why does it make sense to be so bearish?